What is up, guys? So we are going to be doing a dev profile for an OCG deck, and I actually got second place at the Hatti CS domestic tournament. It had a really large turnout, but anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile because it's something that is new. Keep in mind, guys, this is OCG, so you might be wondering, like, why is there a feather duster? You know, we have that ban. Again, guys, it's an OCG deck, but you know, we're pretty close way to that ban list coming around the corner for the TCG. Maybe like after Worlds or something like that. So, I mean, Cyberstein is kind of required in the deck, but you can still kind of play this deck and, you know, you can see what you can do. Obviously, you're going to have to change the extra deck if you're going to go ahead and do that. But this deck, guys, it's oriented around stunning your opponent and just getting a lot of free advantage. And it's a very, very fast deck. Like, you usually win relatively soon. If some of you guys sent in replays of this deck, but if you guys didn't know, DevPro recently had an update, so rip like all you guys' replays from like the past couple days, because when cards get updated, they just don't work in the replays. That's just how it works. But anyways, if you guys have any footage of this, I'll love to share some of it. If you guys want to send it into the email, it's down below in the description box. But yeah, it's a really, really crazy deck as far as like how fast you can just like make a field and then be like, oh, I'm setting my solemns, and then your opponent just loses. That's how this deck works. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump in the deck profile, and then we'll kind of make some comments, talk a little bit about it. But anyways, for the metal PHOSIS, or metal foci, is that the plural pronunciation? But anyways, we got triple copies of Wolfflame, then triple copies of Silvered, and then we have 3 copies of Steely Wren. Steely Wren is the TCG name. You'll see over here it says Steelin, but yeah, keep in mind sometimes when they change the name, it's really close, but yeah, it's not like a different card. It's actually the Steely Wren. And then we have 3 copies of the Magic Spectre Kirin. Then we have 3 copies of Gofu, which actually opens up a lot of synchro potential plays for the deck. And then we have the 2 copies of Ariadne. Then we have 3 copies of Bunbuku. And then we have 1 copy of Archfiend Eccentric, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, 3 copies of Cyberstein, 2 copies of Max C, 2 copies of Painful Decision, 3 of the new card that just came out here in the TCG, the Pot of Cupidity. So a lot of you guys were like, nah, this card not even good. But like in certain decks that just need that kind of speed, whether it's FDK, OTK, or like really aggressive decks. Like this deck, you make turn 1 fields where your opponent just has to scoop. And then we have the Metal Foes Fusion, 1 random MST, and then we got the double copies of the Metal Foes Counter. This card's really good, so if a card you control is destroyed by battle of a card effect, you can special summon a Metal Foes monster from your deck. And then during either player's turn except this turn was sent to the graveyard, you banish it, you can add another face-up Metal Foes Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. And then we have 1 copies of Vandy's, 1 copies of the Metal Foes Combination. We got 3 copies of the Solemn Strike and Solemn Judgment to round it off. Because you are going to be paying a lot of life points. You are paying 5,000. Some people are like, wow, that's way too much. Keep in mind, guys, one thing that can be important to do, and a lot of the replays will probably show this off once you guys send me them in, or if I do the testing myself, is that you don't generally want to leave Cyberstein on board. It depends what you're making. Like, if you're going to make this card where your opponent can't summon anything, at that point, yeah, by all means, you can leave Cyberstein in attack position. One problem that you can run into with Cyberstein is that even if you have like a really amazing field, your opponent hits you once because you've paid 5,000. You can kind of game yourself, especially if you're activating something along the lines of like Strike or Judgment. However, as long as you can, you know, get that field where, you know, you're using the Metal Foes effect to destroy another face-up card that you control. I mean, sometimes you will have to destroy this, but generally what you want to do is destroy the Ariadne and then get the free effects of Ariadne, then you add the Solemns, and therefore, like, it doesn't matter that your Cyberstein's in attack. So, in one way, you have to be aware that Cyberstein can actually make it so you lose the game, but in another sense, you also have to have that, you know, concept of, you know, my opponent's not going to be able to play. Like, if you make a lot of these cards, a lot of these things stun so hard, again, that your opponent cannot Yu-Gi-Oh! But we haven't gone over the extra deck yet, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. So, we have Gaia Drake, the Universal Force, and then we have Nextria Exterior, which is usually the card that you want to go for. So while this card is face up on the field, you can negate the activation of a spell trap card and destroy it by removing play 1 card from your graveyard, then sending 1 card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. So basically, you just need 1 to get started, and then you just start negating everything in the game. That's how this deck works. Like when you combine it with, you know, Cyberstein, you go into that, and then you're like, okay, set Solemn, or, you know, maybe you destroyed Ariadne, search out, maybe you Pendulum, got free extra cards. But for the most part, that's the point of the deck. It's to get into Cyberstein as quickly as possible, and then just be like, I summon 1 monster and I win the game. Then we have the Ori Hulk over here for the Metal Foes. And then we also have this card, which is an older card. I think we should go over its effect just real quick because, like I said, it is an older card. So it is the last warrior from another planet. So when this card is special summon, destroy all monsters on your side of the field except for this card. This card, as long as this card remains face up on the field, neither player can normal summon, flip summon, or special summon any monster. So again, that downside with Cyberstein doesn't really exist because like it's going to destroy all monsters on your side of the field, so Cyberstein can't be a target. Now this card doesn't have that much attack, but if your opponent can't normal or special, then at that point I think you're ready to go. A dirty combo can be Exterio plus this card. Obviously, you'll have to do a lot of stuff. I remember seeing like some people were like, "Well, you can't do that because how are you going to special summon?" Well, what you do is you negate its effect, and then you get out another card, and then you get out Exterio somehow through that means. It's very, very difficult to do, but once this guy and this card comes out on the field, you instantly win. And some people might be like, "Well, you can't do that, Cyberstein, just pay 5,000." There's Brain Research Lab. There's a lot of other combo cards that you guys can use to actually negate some of the stuff and also mitigate the pay, because it's not a really realistic like meta combo, but I just wanted to show you guys like this combo is probably one of the most dirty combos in the game, where it's like your opponent can't use spell and traps and they can't summon. So at that point they cannot Yu-Gi-Oh, which is the goal of this deck. Then we have Mithra, we have Adamante. Like most of them are pretty mediocre. Like one of them lets you like I think like destroy a card or like draw one. It's very mediocre for the most part. And then like gains defense. Where is it? You can target one effects monster on the field and equip it to this card. Yeah, it's during your opponent's turn. Yeah, this was the one that actually has like a decent effect. Most of them are pretty mediocre. Like this one does like double piercing, and then this one lets you destroy a card when it goes away. And then the Mithra over here, it makes it so target 2 metal foes in your card and use graveyard, and then 1 card on the field, you shuffle the first into the deck, and if you do, return the second to the hand. I don't know, I just really like that. Oh, this one doesn't have an effect. I like this one. I like Alakas, because you're able to, during your opponent's turn, absorb something, and then it gains defense, which is kind of mediocre. Because it's not going to be able to be really aggressive. But like being able to stun your opponent is like the goal of this deck anyways in the first place, and it's just really easy to do with Cyberstein. Now Ultimate Token, remember Gofu is your tuner in the deck, and he's a pretty good card. I don't know if this card will get banned. There's so many like Quasar plays. I'm sure some of you guys seen the crazy Quasar plays using the Blackwing stuff. I don't know, I feel like maybe they'll just end up hitting this card like randomly, and people will be like, what, not even good, but like this card absolutely is crazy when it goes off. But we got Ultimate Token, we got Void Ogre Dragon, Crystal Wing, Ignister, the Cypherame Lord Omega, Moonlight Rose, the Break Sword, and Totem Bird. The side deck, if you guys haven't seen Santa Claus, in the TCG guys we have Kaiju, so Kaijus are probably better than Santa Claus or Satan Claus. But it's just because they don't have the Kaijus, so they have to use this. Until they get Kaijus, this is going to be the card. Obviously, when Kaijus come out, then you're probably going to be playing the Kaijus. Then we have the another Ariadne for the side deck. We have double Jougans, so that lets you deal with someone else that perhaps is playing this deck. They make a really insane field. You might have to, just go for Jougan. It's a pretty self-explanatory combo. We have the third Maxi. We have the double DeeDee Crow. It combats the ABC deck. There's also another card, Justice, that I wanted to mention. Where is it? It banishes. Is it Psycho Reader? Okay, this card, Ally of Justice Psycho Reader, is probably a much better card than DeeDee Crow against ABCs, but DeeDee Crow technically works against other things, so you can take that into consideration. It's so crazy, we see Harpy's Feather Duster legal, and people don't even main deck it. That just shows you guys how crazy this game has gotten. Like, he's playing MST over Harpy's Feather Duster, because it is a quick play, guys, and that's just really what it comes down to. But nonetheless, Harpy's Feather Duster side deck, got Wavering Eyes in the side deck, double Drowning Mirror Force, and then the Solemn Warning. It's kind of interesting to see him side in Solemn Warning, but it makes sense because if he sides in the other Ariadne, then he can side in the other Solemn. But that's it for the deck profile, guys. Let me know what you think of it, and if you guys have any replays that weren't like from yesterday, I guess technically, because again, DevPro just updated, and a lot of the replays just don't work right now. But it's a really, really stun-oriented deck. So if you don't really like giving your opponent even the ability to play Yu-Gi-Oh, this is an excellent deck. If you guys have suggestions for this deck, I would love to know. I mean, personally for me, I understand MST is a quick play card, but Harpy's Feather Duster is just on some next level stuff. Like, it just feels like it's so much easier just to say like, oh, I'm just gonna get rid of all of them. Like, no one in the OCG, like if you look at some of the deck lists, like none of them are playing. What's that? No, Starlight Road. Like, I remember back in the day when we had a heavy storm, like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I gotta, like, play, like, one Starlight, because that card can make a huge difference. But with, like, so many of these things were like this, where, like, you can't respond Starlight Road to, like, Solemn Strike, I could see why some people don't play it. But nonetheless, like if Heavy Storm comes back, or maybe Harpy's Feather Duster, maybe we'll see some Starlight Roleplay. Because that card is like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you feel like you're about to lose because you're going to destroy everything Black Rose or something, and then you're just like, nope. That was just always a fun card. But as far as making this deck viable in the TCG, without Cyberstein, guys, I want to say that like you probably don't really want to play this deck, because that's how the deck orients itself. It revolves itself around going really fast. And there's really not too many good metal foes as of right now. Like I said, Alkaias, it lets you kind of absorb something, but even with all these things, like the deck is oriented around stunning, because once they get something that's stronger than you, that can technically be a problem if you don't have like the Cybersteins. It's like the easy out to it. Although I mean, like they have like okay effects, but they're not like, you know, like destroy one card instantly. Like this card has to be sent from the field to the graveyard, and then you get to target a card, then destroy. It's just a little bit slow, but like with Gofu, I guess you could kind of make this, but it's not as often. You could make those like every single turn first turn. I think the more optimal play is just go for Cyberstein and then just be like, I'll make one of these guys and like good luck trying to play against me. That's the way I see this deck. And the Pot of Cupidity definitely seems like it's a good card in some of these decks that orient around themselves around like first turn. I got game. But anyways, let me know, guys, what you think of the deck, and if you guys got replays, would love to feature them, and also, you know, I'll give you guys credit for that in like the description box. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you guys give that like button a titty slap. I'm signing out.